Pete Martin. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in other videos of mandolin, fiddle, improvisation, and many other musical subjects, click the subscribe banner below. And if you want to be notified when I post new videos, click the bell icon right next to it. This is a series of videos on the Barry Harris method applied to the mandolin. I would definitely suggest starting at video 1 of the series, as all the videos build on each other. There's a PDF that goes along with this, so email me and request Barry Harris for Mandolin video number 3, Blues. In this video I will demonstrate everything in the key of C, but serious students should learn these in all keys and eventually in all positions they regularly play on the mandolin. One of the main part of Barry's method is learning how to hear how chords fit into chord progressions and learning to play scales that fit those chords that then fit into the progressions. So that's what we'll do here, is we'll take a blues progression in the key of C and outline the chords. Let's take some of the concepts learned in previous videos and apply them to the key of C blues progression. Example 1 shows the blues progression in the key of C, so take a look at it now. In this progression, we see one measure of C7, one measure of F7, two measures of C7, two measures of F7, one measure of C major 7, one measure of A7, one measure of D minor 7, one measure of G7, one measure of C major, and then one measure of G7. Now that last G7 only comes into play if we go back to the top of the form right there. If we don't, and we're ending the piece, then instead of one measure of C major 7 and one measure of G7, we'll just substitute two measures of C major 7 for that. But in this example here, I'm going to assume that we're going to go back up to the top and play the form through again, so that last measure is G7. For all one measure chords, we're going to play an ascending scale going from root to 7. For two measure scales, we'll play from root up to 7 and then back down again. What you'll find is this puts the notes of the chord on the beat as eighth notes in 4/4 time. And this is something that allows us to hear what the chord progression is. Go back and listen where I played this scale outline earlier in this video and listen to how it fits the chords. A very common bebop device that you would hear Charlie Parker and a lot of the bebop era players play is when they had a minor 7 chord, they would just play the dominant chord a fifth away against that. So in our progression, in I think it's measure 8, when we see the D minor chord, no, it's measure 9, when we see the D minor chord, the D minor 7 chord we simply play a G7 scale against that. We'll look at that in future videos, but just for right now, this is a very, very common bebop device, and because this way of teaching teaches the bebop language, we're going to, Barry uses that. So for this progression, we need to know the C7, the F7, the C major, the G7, and then there's one other one that we haven't seen before, and in a future video I'll point this out. It's kind of an exception to things, but when we do a 1 chord to a 6 dominant chord, as we do when we play C major 7 and go into A7, we will play an ascending C major. Then we're going to descend, except when we end, instead of playing a C, we're going to play a C sharp. Like that. So for right now, don't worry about why, and just learn this, and in a future video, we'll go into the why. In example 2, I play 1 and 2 measure segments of these scales. C7 1 bar, F7 1 bar, G7 1 bar, C7 2 bars, F7 2 bars, G7 2 bars. Example 3 has the complete scale outline of the blues progression. I played it fast earlier in the video, so you might want to watch that a couple of times, but here I play it quite a lot slower. One, 2, 3, 4. One more time. So I hope you've enjoyed learning the blues progression. Make sure you learn it in at least several keys, if not all 12 keys, and in a number of positions on the instrument. When you're comfortable with this, then go on to video 4. I'm Pete Martin. Thanks for watching.